And Mike, let me interrupt because we have Sheriff Smith with us to talk more about what is happening in that area right now. Sheriff, are you with us?
Sheriff Smith, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Mike?
Yes, sir. We sure can.
Okay.
Tell us what's going on right now in the Poudre, not the Poudre County, but in the area around Big Thompson and in Larimer County.
What we're seeing
Poudre,
right now, the best information I can give you is that water flows are approximately 50% higher than were forecasted. We anticipated a few hours ago.
Okay.
We're just continuing to pull residents back as much as we can. Unfortunately, we are just strictly in the blind in these areas. We're relying on the meters that are up there. We're told that those are likely compromised and faulty numbers. The challenge we've attempted to send emergency notifications to those areas, but at this point in time, we believe that phone service is mostly out in the canyon. We had contacted these residents earlier in the day. We have no access to the canyon, so unfortunately, Big Thompson, we're simply in the blind, and we've pulled people out as much as we can, and at this point, we don't know much more.
Well, and Sheriff, tell us specifically which area, so in case folks do have electricity, they do have communication in some way, help us spread the word. Who needs to be on alert?
Well, anybody, anywhere near the Big Thompson Canyon. The 100-year floodplain is what we had looked at, and really we're looking from Estes Park all the way to the county line, and Weld County picks it up from there. Anybody in the Big Thompson Canyon needs to seek higher ground. As you just mentioned, these flow rates, by what's being reported, are higher than we saw in 1976. Anyone in that canyon needs to be considering higher ground. We don't know where all the residences are. They have to make that best choice. As the water comes out of the canyon, we've attempted to reach everyone we could through emergency notifications earlier in the day. The challenge is we just don't know where this water flows each and every place as it comes through. If we made that notification earlier, we ask people to keep their eyes out. If that water's coming, seek higher ground now. In the middle of the night in the dark, it's just simply too difficult to know.
You made a key point there. You're talking about seeking higher ground. You're not talking about getting in your car and trying to drive somewhere.
No, most of the time now, we don't know where these waters are, and certainly we just don't. We're blind in the middle of the night.
Right.
And as you know, and you've reported, we appreciate you sharing this. In those conditions, as uncomfortable as it may be, simply going uphill is the best option. We won't put cars in those areas.
Right.
We've seen how they float away.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, you have already told folks along the Big Thompson Canyon to evacuate. So this is really their second notice. Am I correct?
It is. We have done that. I wish I remember what the hours were. It was sometime yesterday.
Well, we've lost track too.
Yeah.
We lost track as well. But the challenge, and this is the tough part, is we went to launch those early yesterday. By the time we got them launched, that bottom end of the canyon was already compromised. People couldn't come down. They couldn't get up. They had the option of getting, if they could, to get to Drake, to the firehouse or somewhere up from there. I talked to one of my captains who was in the canyon earlier, has managed to escape to Estes Park, that he talked to many residents. Several of them, and I have no estimate of numbers, had commented they believed they were on high enough ground, higher than where the firehouse would be, and they sought that. And if you know that canyon, there certainly are some areas where people are well above the river there. At this point, can I even fathom a guess whether that's high enough?
Yeah, that would be very difficult. Now, let's talk about your resources at this point in time. Do you have all of the resources that you need to deal with this issue as big as it's gotten?
At this point, the problem isn't the number of resources. We do have deputies in the field. We do have Colorado National Guard here. They are set to start in the operational period in the morning. Problem we have is there just is not hardly anything you can do in the nighttime hours like this because you don't know what's going on. So I think we're reasonably getting to where we can. We have other police agencies in the area certainly assisting us as well. So I don't have a complaint that we don't have the personnel out there. It's just the conditions overwhelming us. And the important thing is, while we're talking Big Thompson, we're having the same kind of things on the north end of the Poudre. We have both of our major waterways coming down with significant waters, and we've got that in the north end. So we're doing this Big Thompson south by Loveland. We're doing the same thing Poudre north of Fort Collins.
Well, and I'm wondering then about the ramifications for Loveland and Fort Collins. Can you speak to that a little bit more?
You know, for the city of Loveland, once again, they put those notifications out. I know early in the day they were sending the message that they were prepared to address the city as two cities, north of Big Thompson and south of Big Thompson.
Right.
I don't know if they're to that level. It's certainly possible. And now we have a similar condition in the city of Fort Collins. Latest information I've got from Fort Collins Police and Poudre Fire Authority is they have closed all bridges over the Poudre River tonight and not allowing people to make that crossing. We are assisting Colorado State Patrol, at least last I knew we were still assisting, by monitoring on I-25. To my knowledge, I-25 is still open, but we're watching the bridge, and that Poudre River Bridge is just north of Harmony.
Right.
And so we're watching to see what happens with that as well.